I'm Christina. I'm the Vice President of Product Marketing at Ogury. I lead a global team who's responsible for product strategy and execution. Zero-party data is data that is shared intentionally and proactive by consumers. It's usually collected via surveys, and it's really important because you're getting the information directly from the consumers, and it's allowing you to understand things like, their preferences, what they're interested in, feedback about the way that they want to engage with your brand. And it's becoming so important because the more ethical we are with our data collection, given the current state of the digital landscape, the more successful we'll be. Brands really need to focus on building consumer trust and being really transparent in the way data is collected and how it's used. So zero-party data it goes a step further than first-party data, right? We know how important first-party data is in the digital ecosystem. It's highly sought after. But most of first-party data is based on inferences. There's some first-party data that is registration data, and you are getting some information directly from consumers, but it doesn't go as far as what zero-party data does to really understand holistically who the user is. So if we're thinking about zero-party data, that's coming direct from the source. So it's very trusted, and you don't have that, just making an inference based on a user's behavior. First-party data is something along the lines of, if you're a publisher, and on a publisher's website, a user has read 3 articles about finance, that must mean that they're interested in finance. If it's a retailer's website, it's things like transaction data. If it is a social network, it's things like the posts and information that user engages with. And while that's all really useful and it's really important, zero-party data really allows you to validate what you think you're seeing from your data signals, and that's really why it's been very important for brands to adopt this. So zero-party data has a lot of benefits, both for users and for marketers. I think the really important thing about zero-party data is that it is really about increasing the trust that you have with your consumers, right? Again, it is very transparent to the user how their data is being utilized, and they're giving that to the brands proactively because for them, they want to build a deep relationship with a brand that they love and are loyal to, right? So they're willing to give their data over for that purpose. The other really important thing, again, there's so much data in the digital ecosystem, but zero-party data is really validated and therefore it's more accurate. So when you have more accurate data and you're a marketer, you can utilize that data more effectively in your overall marketing strategy because you have the exact information from the consumer. You can then tailor your messages. You can hone in on the audiences that are going to be most likely to engage with you. So that's, a really important piece here. The other thing is that it's going to give you a competitive advantage, right? If you're collecting zero-party data on your customers and other brands are not, you're going to be able to foster that really strong relationship. And then lastly, I would say it's often more cost effective. I think similar to first-party data, when the data is something that you can collect on your own, you're not then having to buy data in the digital ecosystem. So in terms of advice I would have for brands looking to incorporate zero-party data, it's really allowing you to have a very deep relationship with your audience, and it's going to allow you to validate exactly what their intentions are, right? So if we're thinking about purchase intentions, for example, you may see through data on your site, if you're a retailer, that a consumer may have purchased a lot of clothes in the last 3 months. It could mean that they're in the market to purchase more clothes, and maybe that's what your data signal is telling you there. But it could also mean that they don't have any more money and they're not going to buy any more clothes, right? So having that ability to ask the question allows you to validate that and understand whether it's the right time to continue to message them. I think the other thing that's really important is that there has to be some value for that user to share the data. So they're doing so because they want to foster that deep relationship with a brand that they love, and they're willing to do that if they feel like when they engage with that brand, it is much more personalized and customized to them. And then lastly, I would say that we know how important the new regulations are in the digital ecosystem, and this is absolutely essential to continuing to grow and move forward in the new space. Brands are really going to have to find new ways to engage with their audiences. And again, because this is so ethical and so transparent, it really allows you to develop a really strong relationship with your audience.